Happy Tuesday. It is February 20th, 2024, 2024. And let's see. Time for an after work, after school story. Evicted. The Struggle for the Right to Vote by AliceFayeDuncan and art by Charlie Palmer. Evicted. Look at this beautiful illustration, this painting. Oh, we're going to really enjoy this. Look at this, right to vote. That's right. Don't give in. And let's read In Loving Memory of Mattie Armstrong Jeter, Golden Motley Jamerson, and Minnie Harris Jameson. That's from the author. Excuse me. And from the illustrator, thank you to my wife, Dr. Karita Brown, for stepping into the role of cheerleader that my mother left vacant in 2009. You are such an amazing person. Isn't that beautiful to be able to say that about someone? Excuse me. And then let's look at the acknowledgments. You can pause that to read it if you want. Okay. There's no royal blood coursing in my veins. No great family background for me remains. I haven't had a chance as others have had. My living conditions have been kind of bad. But it makes no difference what folks think or say. I'm determined to be somebody someday. William Herbert Brewster. Oh my God. Mapping the movement. Here is Fayette County, Tennessee, marked on a map. In 1950, it was the third largest land area in the state and third poorest county in the nation. Fayette County's population of 28,000 was 2/3 Black, and the Black majority was made up mostly of unlearned sharecroppers living on cotton farms owned by white landowners. While it was lawful for all adults to vote in public elections, the white ruling class in Fayette used the terror of fire and lynching to render blacks powerless by suppressing black voting and discouraging black participation in the electoral process. The county's list of registered black voters showed less than 30 names. But in 1959, after the legendary trial of sharecropper Burton Dotson, an uprising swept through the county like a forceful wind. This historical period is called the Fayette County Tent City Movement. Examining this period of American history reveals the power of what is possible when people unite to challenge injustice and make freedom a reality for all. And we know sharecroppers were farmers who paid for seed, tools, and a place to live, not with money, but with a share of the crops they raised on the landowners' farms. Most sharecroppers were Black, uneducated, and frequently cheated of their wages from white landowners who exploited the defenseless workers. Tent City profiles. So we see James Jr. Jamerson, an abandoned child in Fayette County. Baby Ann Jamerson, Jr.'s little sister. Golden Jamerson, Jr.'s paternal grandmother. And Burton Dotson, a farmer accused of murder. James Frank Estes, a civil rights lawyer. John McFerrin, a Tent City leader and grocer. Viola McFerrin, a Tent City leader and John's wife. And Nat Hartman Jameson, a Tent City activist and John's best friend. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Oh my, this is going to be a lot. This is Minnie Jameson, a Tent City activist and Hartman's wife. That's her. Shepard Towles, a Tent City landowner and farmer. Ernest Withers, a famous Black American photographer. And Early Williams, the very first Tent City resident. We have Mary Williams, Early's wife and Tent City resident, and Charlie Butts, student volunteer from Oberlin College. So this was the beginning. Whites only voting booth. Prologue to freedom. This is the story of a battle, a boy and his broken-hearted blues. It is James Jr.'s journey through turbulent times in Fayette County, Tennessee. The people in Fayette County lived apart. Black and white children went to separate schools. Jim Crow signs hung high, and while black hands in Fayette were free to pick the cotton and corn, the same black hands were barred from casting ballots in public elections. Black laborers lived as a voiceless people on the rural plains of West Tennessee. And if they dared to vote, they grappled with a dreaded question. What violence would they suffer from the Ku Klux Klan or White Citizens Council? Black landowners like John McFerrin and Hartman Jameson swallowed their fear of death. They organized registration drives to help black citizens vote in Somerville, the county seat. This struggle for freedom in Fayette County unleashed great evil. White farmers booted black sharecroppers off the land, and black babies were born in tents. James Jr. wrestled with grief. Terror and gunshots reigned, but the voiceless did finally speak. They even sang a freedom song. Call out the names of men, women, and children from this Fayette County movement. Record their conquering civil rights struggle for generations to come. Remember it. Pass it on. Big Man Blues. The year was 1954. James Jr. learned about love and loss before he learned to read. His mama and daddy would work all week and drink all Friday night. Before leaving her children alone, Dorothy would kiss James Jr. and say, "Take care of Baby Ann." James Jr. was only 5 and Baby Ann was 3 when James Sr. would pat the boy's head on Friday nights and say, you are our big man now. Then the parents would hitch a ride from Fayette County to Beale Street in Memphis. And when Baby Ann cried from hunger, James Jr. fed her day-old biscuits. When Baby Ann cried from fear because the house was cold and dark, Jr. rocked her in his arms until she fell asleep. One Friday night in July turned into Sunday morning. Their parents had not returned. Baby Ann lay on the patchwork quilt and groaned from one of her headache spells. "I want Mama," she cried. "Mama gone," huffed Jr. as he turned to face the wall. Who could he call for help with no phone in the cropper's shack? The boy prayed for Uncle Hartman, his daddy's brother, to knock on the door. He prayed for Aunt Minnie, his uncle's wife, to come in with plates of food. Rap, tap, tap, his grandmother knocked. A grumbling in her feeble mind made her remember the children. She stood on the porch in a blue work jacket and mismatched brogan boots. She wore a crumpled old church hat with a silver cross around her neck. Golden was her name. When Mama Golden opened the unlatched door and shuffled toward the bed, James Jr. shot up to hug her with all his strength. Baby Ann stretched out her arms for Golden to pick her up. Golden helped the children button their clothes over frayed pajamas. She fled their scuffed toe shoes, and they all sat on the bed watching black storm clouds gather and waiting on a savior. Golden could not tell the future through the cracks in her feeble mind, but when it comes to Hartman Jameson, her understanding was clear as rain. Her oldest son would search the county roads for her and receive the children. He would feed the lambs, raise them up, and love them like a father. Woo! You talking about some hard times. And don't we have angels in our life when we're desperate? That's so funny. I just met one of my students, play grandfathers, and woo, was he a blessing just now to me. And he just, wow, just like an angel. And grandparents, great-grandparents, or people who are up in age who have seen life, yeah, they're blessings. So thank you. This is going to be probably a 3-part storybook, but we're looking forward to reading more and being inspired to help others. Remember, the baby was crying out of hunger and eating day-old biscuits out. It doesn't matter. A lot of people are suffering out here now. Maybe you might not have something specific, like money, but share. There are a lot of people who are without, and it's up to us. It takes a village to bring others with us, right? Because, like I said, a lot of people are searching for answers, and we have sometimes a remedy. So let's spread love and let's impact each other of all ages. All right, have a wonderful afternoon and evening.